So I know that we've already done that intro.
We did, but honestly, I was gonna say that like that holds up. That's still funny. That's still really
and
funny.
it's very prescient because of James White. Like it's so prescient because bro, you wait, everybody look, wait. Intoxicated. Okay, I'm gonna be honest with everyone. It's New Year's Eve, and this is my fourth. This is my fourth martini.
Oh, this should be fun.
This will be a very interactive show. Rob could not make it because Rob is gay. I mean, no, wait. Rob had dinner tonight. That's what happened. Rob had dinner plans with his wife tonight. He's not gay. Like he's kind of gay, but like he had dinner plans with his wife tonight. And if this is your first time tuning into Avoiding Babylon, I'm just going to tell you, do not judge us by this stream because Anthony's had a few. Holy crap, Rob's watching. Oh,
no. That's great.
I have to say, Rob held the freaking fort down while I was gone. Like, he held the freaking fort down while I was gone. And me and oh no. What is this?
Welcome, Michael.
Yo, brother, man. Did Anthony eat Rob?
Lofting out.
That is an Opie and Anthony viewer. I don't know who that is, but they watch Opie and Anthony, brother, man. Anyway, Rob held the freaking fort down while I was gone. And me and Nicole were actually talking the other day, and she's like, Nicole said to me, she's like, Anthony, he did all the shows while you were gone, plus he did those meditations every morning. Like Rob did a lot while I was gone. So I told Rob, dude, if there's any shows you need to skip, like I got you. Well, like I got you while you're while you got family stuff to do. This is totally acceptable that Rob is not here tonight. So it's just me and Nick tonight, guys. But we're going to talk about James White.
Good old Jimmy.
Because apparently I triggered him. And yeah, Rob had to talk. That's interesting. I heard a lot of feedback that everybody was like, it was actually refreshing to hear Rob talk, and he had a lot of commentary. Apparently I hog all the airtime. I didn't know that was.
I'll be honest, the first episode, I forget even who we did it with, but there was like a few seconds in there. I was like, wow, it's quiet. This is awkward. I don't know what to say. And then we picked up steam. We kind of like figured it out.
I think you guys take for granted. Look,
dude, there's a solid like 30-40% of the audience that only shows up because they want to watch Anthony. That's 1,000% true.
I had a few, and I'm gonna say this. I know how to host a show. Like I know how to keep a show moving. Like I remember we had a couple of guests on where the audience was like, Anthony, move this along. Like they were getting bored, and I saw it in the comments. They're like, Anthony, move this along. You know how to get control of a show. I forget who the guest was, and I'm not going to throw any names under the bus. But yeah, it's just like there's a lot of shows out there that they come on, and it gets like those awkward times. I cringe at awkward silence.
Oh, it's horrible.
It like when nobody knows what to say. I had a few things I wanted to talk about tonight. I should have probably jotted notes down because I don't remember any of them.
Thankfully, it's all in the title.
It was interesting the past few days because, look, this is going to be a very Twitter-heavy episode because I have been on a rampage of just annoying Protestants the past couple of days. And one of those things that I said was the thief on the cross was saved by
Mary's intercession, yeah.
Yeah, because Mary was praying at the foot of his cross, which is totally preposterous. But it caught the attention of James White. And
it is like though true in a way though, because it's like all grace has come like through her hands. So you're not wrong. But obviously you didn't know you were speaking with profound theological wisdom while you're typing away on Twitter.
You know what it is. It sounded like one of those pious things you might hear in the Glories of Mary.
Exactly.
Right? Like it sounded like one of those things you might hear in the Glories of Mary, and like I just fired it out, you know. And James White actually said that he like so James White was addressing Calvin. Look, James White doesn't like I'm a nobody, you know. So he was more interested in So Calvin Robinson responded to my tweet and he said, "Base the Mary build."
Yeah. Okay.
Because look, I know a lot of people say things about Calvin Robinson, but Calvin Robinson is very close to Rome. I honestly think that if you had a good pope in, that he would be Roman Catholic. I think the only thing preventing him is that he's got a ministry that he thinks he has, and he wants to continue to provide that ministry. He's a priest and he wants to continue to minister to his people. And if he actually came into Rome, they'd shut him down immediately.
I wonder if I was to try to like pop over there and be like, "Hey, have you ever heard of this thing called the SSPX?" Maybe he'd take a look in there.
It might be a good conversation to have with him, because I do think that's what's holding him back, and it's an interesting thing. So he replied, "Based and Mary pilled," and then James White, because Calvin is speaking, Father Calvin, because I'll call him Father Calvin because his orders are valid, and I know people get annoyed with that, but he has valid orders. He is a priest, and he is speaking at a conference that is pretty much all Calvinists there, but it's called like Trash World or something like that.
What?
I don't know. So it's called like Defeating Trash World, something like that. Anyway,
dang, I'm out of the loop.
So Father Calvin Robinson is speaking at that, and James White is trying to get the momentum to get him kicked off that speaking gig.
Oh, okay.
All because of his response to my tweet. Happy New Year's, brothers. You bring joy to many. Use this to buy a cradle indulgence for me. Also, crazy question. Alex Jones claims that the last real pope was JP2. And he thought so. Okay.
I didn't know he had an opinion on that.
Nick, I posted one of my predictions today. One of my predictions is Francis will abdicate in 2025, and he will abdicate only the munus and not the ministerium, and that's going to cause mayhem between the Beneplenists and the Francescoplenists.
Oh my gosh!
How funny would that be?
That'd be so funny.
How funny would that be if the Francis fans and the Benedict fans were just like at war because they didn't think Francis properly abdicated the throne?
It'd be hilarious because it'd be a bunch of like Fox News watching boomers against like the Jimmy Martins of the world who are like, no, we hate any other pope but Francis. That'd be glorious.
Apparently,
Yes.
Like
indeed.
no, because there are all right. So if JP2 was the last pope, like Alex Jones says JP2 was the last pope, right? There are people who think John the 23rd was the last, but like you're going to get people who ascribe to any conspiracy theory. It's just what happens, right?
Yeah.
So if Francis did abdicate, you would get people who think he didn't abdicate properly, and whoever
100%.
comes in the next, like Francis is the last valid pope, the last legitimate pope. It would just,
oh gosh.
All right, we got 331 people. I'm going to now tell everybody, please like and subscribe. Like I should have said it at the beginning of the show. I'm saying it now. Please like and subscribe. This is not a typical show. Anthony's a little tipsy.
Which is probably good because we'll get your honest opinions. This would be great.
You guys got truth serum in me. But it's New Year's, man. It's New Year's Eve, and I figured this would be a very interactive show with the audience. So I just want to say my wife and I just got home from the hospital. We brought home our 8th child, 6th son. Please say a small prayer for us. No name.
Very cool.
God bless, man. That is a beautiful, beautiful life you are having. Yeah, your wealth is in your children, man. That is amazing. Molly's feeling. Molly, you must be a little tipsy tonight too. That's the first time I ever saw that.
Rip. What is this? So tell us, what is this conference that like that James Wan's Calvin kicked off of? Because that's a weird name, like No Trash World. Like, what kind
I
of
think
branding is that?
it's like surviving in trash world.
Okay, and so it's
What we'll
this
do is we're
Calvinist.
gonna go through. Look, James White did a whole show on me and Calvin Robinson,
Man, it must have been a really
and we have
slow news
clips.
day.
So we have clips. So what we're going to do is play those clips. Me and Nick are just kind of like shooting the breeze a little bit beforehand. You guys will hear those clips. Do not worry. We're just letting the audience build a little bit. It's New Year's Eve. We just want as many people in here hanging out as Anthony drinks his fourth martini so that we can have as much fun as we can. I should have wrote notes. Like I had a few things.
Right
Oh,
response.
come and say hello to everybody. No, get that. My wife's down here. Nicole, come here, please. Nicole.
How to defeat trash. Well, Aaron, you'd be the expert, being the expert protesting minister.
Wait, it's not a rocket fuel. It's a chocolate martini, Don. It's not much better.
Oh my gosh.
All right. I want to be a bad person and have a smoke break with you and Adrian right now. All right. So I know what he's doing. He's trying to get me to tell everybody how much I love Bobby. Like my friend Bobby is the best. And I'm not that drunk yet, Bobby. I'm just telling you. I invited my friend Patrick over tonight who came to Italy with me. Bobby came to Italy with me. My friend Patrick, I told, look, I'm doing a show with my friend Nick tonight, and we're going to be on till like 9:30, 10. Come over around then, and Patrick's going to come and ring in the new year with me and my wife because we're home alone tonight, and my wife's mad at me.
Oh, all the kids are out?
The show. Yeah, they're all. When your kids get older, it's kind of like, yeah, we don't want to hang out with you guys anymore, so they went out. No, not Patrick Coffin. Patrick Coffin lives in California. My friend Patrick, who lives on Long Island. Oh, that's what I wanted to talk about. I go to Mass on Sunday. So I took my in-laws to Mass on Sunday. My in-laws are Lutheran, okay? Mm-hmm. So my father-in-law is a cradle Catholic, and he married a Lutheran woman. And my father-in-law, he's an awesome guy. But he married a Lutheran woman, and he stopped going to Mass, and he started going to Lutheran service his whole life. When me and my wife got married, it was like a very big deal that I was like, no, we're getting married in the Catholic Church. Like this was a major issue with my in-laws. Because my father-in-law was like, no, you're supposed to just do what the wife does. And I'm like, no, not in my world. No, the wife does what the husband does in my world, you know? So I think that was like that whole generation. They all thought like it was up to the women to raise the kids in whatever tradition, you know?
Exactly.
So my in-laws, they're beautiful people, man. I really do adore my in-laws. And they've seen me and my wife talking about the Latin Mass constantly and all these things. So Sunday, me and my wife were taking my kids to go to Holy Innocents, and then we were going to go into the city and take our kids to this weird freaking, my wife picked it. I don't know. It was this weird art show that we went to. It was very bizarre. Like if you were a stoner, you would have loved this thing. It was just bizarre. So my in-laws were like, oh, can we come with you? I was like, yeah, of course you guys can come with us, you know? But it's like we're going to Latin Mass in the morning before we go to the art show. And we went to Holy Innocents, which has a beautiful high mass. Now, my father-in-law, who's a cradle Catholic, and my mother-in-law, who's a cradle Lutheran, when we got out, I was asking them like, oh, what'd you guys think? And my mother-in-law, who's Lutheran, thought it was like, she was like, this was beautiful. I loved it. My father-in-law was like, yeah, I don't know. I didn't understand anything that was going on. It was very weird that like the cradle Catholic didn't get it, and my Lutheran mother-in-law found it beautiful.
It honestly makes sense because I mean, like the cradle Catholics nowadays are more Protestant than the Protestants. So like when I showed up, I was like, this is awesome. Like this is like the Catholicism you think about, and then.
But yeah, Nick, you're all right. So Nick, you're a thinker, and you were reading about this. All right, so this is an interesting question. So my father-in-law made his communion in 1965.
Okay, so
So
right at
that
the
was part of the
change.
conversation, and I'm like, Dad, like I call my mother and father-in-law mom and dad. Like I've known okay, so I've known my in-laws since I'm 13 years old. Like they're I love them like they're my own parents. Like I adore them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, Dad, do you remember making your communion in the old rite? Like this would have been the rite you made your communion in. And he didn't remember it at all.
Wow.
Which is interesting. I guess at 7 years old, like that's a little too old, right? So then
Mm-hmm.
listen to this. So we walk out of mass, right? And like five people come up to me.
Mm-hmm.
Dude. Like five people go up to me. They're like, "Can I get a picture with you?" My in-laws think I'm in a cult. They think I'm running a cult. So there was visiting FSSP seminarians that are traveling around the country.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them is from Australia, Nick, and watches our show.
Hey,
And
let's
he
go.
came, and the guy's like 6'6".
Dang.
And this is the second time I'm taking a picture with somebody who's 6'6", because my friend Jason from Italy is 6'6", and everybody thinks I'm 5'2" because I keep taking pictures with these giants.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so Peter from the FSSP seminary, you were awesome to meet. I'm very grateful. Then there was an older woman named I don't know if her name is Diane or Diana. She watches our show, and I introduced her to my wife. And I'm like, oh, this is my wife, Nicole. And she goes, oh, you're nothing like I expected.
And your wife looks at you. What is that supposed to mean?
Literally, my wife goes, wait, what do you mean? She goes, no, I thought you'd be more like a Brooklyn Italian type. So, like, this woman thought I'd be married to Marissa Tomei, I guess, like from My Cousin Vinny. My
I mean,
wife was like,
honestly,
wait,
it's fair. It's fair.
it is, I guess. So
Oh, that's funny.
it was really funny because my in-laws know that I do the show because they know me and Nicole just went to Italy. So like that's I kind of had to break it to them that I do a podcast because me and Nicole were going to Italy. And they're like, what do you mean you're going to Italy? I'm like, well, it's we're doing this thing and whatever. So when we came out of church, they were just like, wait, why are these people want to take pictures with my son-in-law? They thought it was
That's
really
great.
bizarre, That's
I've not gotten a
literally
picture one yet. I don't know how I'd feel about that, honestly.
Wait, are they playing the drinking game tonight? You guys will be drinking a lot if you're playing the drinking game tonight. um, so it was so then we were in the car and we're driving down to the art show. So then we went. It was the first time I went to Ground Zero. I never,
Oh
dude. I've
yeah.
lived in New York my whole life. All right, so the hitchhiker guy we were gonna do last night, he's in California right now. We're gonna talk to him. Like he's really dude, I read all his tweets. I'm very interested in this guy. Like he has a very interesting story. He's part of the Catholic Land movement. All this stuff. We're gonna get him on. Just be patient with me. His scheduling is not easy to link up with, but so we're driving down to the art show, and then we stopped and had lunch. And while we're having lunch, my father-in-law was like, so like does that mean like your show's growing? Because like people just recognized you on the street. Like, I'm like, no, they didn't recognize me on the street. I'm like, listen, if I go to a Novus Ordo,
No one knows
nobody
you.
recognizes nobody.
Exactly.
Like it's
Exactly.
but if I go to a Latin mass, I don't care where it is in the country. If I go to a Latin mass anywhere in the country, these are
At least
Catholics that are paying attention to their faith. They're trying to, and at least one or two people will recognize me at a Latin mass.
exactly.
Like that's just how it's going to be, right? So we have a very niche audience. Like it is very niche, but when you go to a Latin mass, that's where you're going to find that niche. Like those are the people that are watching our show. So it's
Exactly.
it's pretty cool though. Like I love meeting people. Like I literally can. So if I didn't have to go to lunch and I didn't have to do that, like I would have just asked those people that came up to me, like, let's go do something. Like I love when people come up to me and tell me they enjoy the show. It's a cool thing because I know I'm meeting fellow Catholics who are paying attention to what's going on and they're doing their best to be Catholic.
Yeah, they're not just like avatars with a name.
They're
Right,
not
just writing
NPCs.
text. Exactly, exactly. And that's just what helps so much. I have the same thing. I'll just show like I went to I was the godfather of a friend of mine recently who got baptized, and we went to the society chapel in a hotel. And while we were there, like after mass, 5 or 6 people immediately is like we're waiting in the back, waiting for the priest to get forward. They just like come up, they're like, "Oh, you're from Avoiding Babylon. We love your show." Yada
Exactly.
yada
So
yada.
do you get recognized more from our show or your own?
I'd say it's 50-50, honestly.
Yeah.
It's 50-50. It kinda depends, but mostly I would say on any given day, it's probably this one of the 2.
Okay. So Mike. Okay. So AB meetup. We're doing this.
In
So, oh,
2030.
Jeff. All right. So for anybody that doesn't know, Jeff is a seminarian. I won't say where or anything, but Jeff is a seminarian, and we need more men to do what Jeff is doing.
And donate to our show right now.
Yes, we need more people to donate to our show. But Jeff is a seminarian. Like God is still calling men to the priesthood. But okay, so AB meetup. So the Italy trip kind of put a few things in perspective for me. Like half the people that went to Italy were from this show. So if 11 or 12 people from this show were willing to travel to Italy, I'm thinking we'll get a handful that are willing to travel local in the US.
Yeah.
So what we're going to have to do is Rob and I have a plan. We're thinking right after Easter, we're going to do something where like we're going to have to just open up to locals first and see how many people we get on locals. We're going to do something in spring right after Easter. If you guys are interested, and we're going to have to do just men, like ladies, I'm very sorry, but there's no way my wife would be okay with women coming on something that she's not coming to. But for the gentlemen who want to do a meetup right after Easter, shoot Rob an email at rob@avoidingbabylon. I don't know what his actual email is, actually. Let me see. Let me give you his correct email.
I should have it. Let's see here.
Let me give you his correct email.
Rob@avoidingbabylon.com.
Yeah, so it's
Robert.
avoidingbabylon.com. If you would be interested right after Easter, I'm going to give you guys a ballpark figure. If you're willing to throw 500 at coming and doing a meetup, like if we could get 10 guys to do 500 a piece, like that 500 will cover your food, it will cover your room, your board. All you'd have to do is travel to us. But if you could throw 500 at it and you're interested in doing a men's meetup with the Avoiding Babylon crew, like we'll fly Nick out. We'll make sure Nick comes. It'll be me, Rob, and Nick. And we will do at least a 4-day weekend, 3 or 4-day weekend where it's all of us just getting together. We will be smoking cigars at a fire. We'll have a priest there, probably be Father Nick's, I'm guessing. And we'll have daily mass. But if you guys are interested in that, shoot Rob an email at rob@avoidingbabylon. We want to do something. If I could get 11 people to fly to Europe, I would hope that we could get 10 or 12 people to do it in the States. So, yeah, so that's that. All right. So now let's get to
Dr. White.
Let's get to Dr. White, right? So let me see. Dude, Rob's not here. I hate when Rob's not here, but let me see if I can.
That's what happens when you're a homosexual.
Loaded. Yeah, Rob, why'd you have to be gay?
Why did you become a homosexual and ditch us?
Let me see. Okay, so let me get this loaded. Give me a second, guys. Be patient with
me. So true. So true.
Just be patient with me. I'm not as technologically proficient as Rob. Okay. Let's see.
Hey, that's it. That's good encouragement right there. At least you're not playing videos through your phone anymore.
That is, dude, I'm getting better. I am getting better.
He is getting better.
Okay. So let's see. We'll share that.
That's what I'm saying. If we do a meetup, just all of you guys come to St. Mary's, Kansas, and you guys can all visit me.
Well, we're thinking like a few things could happen. Like we're thinking maybe the Boundary Waters out by Rob. But look, the thing is with where I want to take everybody, like we have a really good spot, Nick. Like it's a good spot. Like everybody will have their own bathroom. Everybody will have their own shower. Everybody will have, and it'll just be we'll have quads to play on, like things like that. Like that's
Quads, yeah.
I'm thinking it's going to be a really fun time, but it's got to be a very tight knit group, and it can't be over 12 guys. And I'm pretty sure we could get 12 guys together because
Oh,
I
yeah.
already have 3 that are going to come. So it's really just 9 guys we got to get. But so, that's what I'm thinking. So, all right, let's see what we got here. All right.
I'm
Ready for
surprised
Dr.
James
White?
White. I'm surprised he's even wearing a cross. Like that's kind of big for a
Dude,
Calvinist.
this is no. He's wearing a pectoral cross.
He's Bishop White.
No, he's the Protestant Pope.
Golly,
Right?
bro.
The
What's with his,
Protestant
like,
Pope.
jackets?
The Protestant Pope did a video about me. All right. We got to really
Honor.
think about how big the deal this is. So wait, can you hear this?
Let's see here.
Wait. Oh, what'd I do?
You have to play it.
Now he's on that. So
Yeah.
I start looking into his tweets and things. And on the 27th, so 3 days ago now, there's a young guy.
A young
The
guy.
young guy.
It's at Catholic IZM1.
It's Catholicism.
Anthony is his name. And what this guy does is he posts tweets that are real short, extremely controversial, and are just simply meant to get engagement. I guess that's how you make money on Twitter now.
All right. Wait, real quick. He's kind of right. Like, I can't even knock him.
He has not said anything that has been false to this point.
Like, Dr. White, like, I'm gonna be honest. Like, that's kind of what I do. But I will say this. No, it's Todd. You get to come for free, so shut up, Todd. Like, are you kidding me, Todd? Like, I'm not charging you, Todd. Like, are you sick? The reason I got to charge $500 is because I'm letting you, my friend Bobby, and Patrick, and Fawaz, and all these guys come for free. So everybody else got to pay. You know what, Todd? Now you got to pay $500. Anyway, so he's not wrong. What I do on Twitter, it's not for the money. That's where he is wrong. I post short things to get engagement, to rile people up. It's not for the money. It's because I find it funny. Like,
As we said before the
all-
show, you're not that smart. You're just sick. That's what it is.
Look, Todd says, you're subsidizing my opulent lifestyle. That's it.
Real.
James is old and full of mold. Only boomers like him. I will say that I have been watching James White since I'm in my 20s. Like, I have legit been watching James White debate Catholics. So, okay, so preamble, I have to say, Calvin Robinson is coming on January 14th. I booked Calvin Robinson. He's coming on January 14th. I'm trying to get James White to come on. Because what I think would be interesting to talk to James White about is I'm not going to debate James White. Like, leave that to Voice of Reason. Let Voice of Reason and those guys debate James White. What I want to talk to James White about is how much the landscape of apologetics has changed since he's been doing this, because he's been doing this since the 90s, right?
For forever,
and something drastic changed in 2013 where, like, the reason I won't debate James White is because I have a very hard time debating Catholicism under Francis.
Yeah, no, he mentions this in like some video, like all the Catholic apologists for the most part have dried up and they don't debate him. And it's understandable because Pope Francis is the great stumbling block to anyone who's actually serious about the faith, which is a sad thing. I hate to even say it. So you're right. Like, going into that, it would be, okay, I am debating for a system that right now I believe to be true, but its head right now is sick. And so it's weird because it's like you turn into the White House press secretary. That's how it feels.
Yeah, you're right. But there's something, man, it's Nick, I'm debating all day. Like, that's what I'm doing. I'm debating all day. But I'm debating for a Catholicism that the Catholicism I believe is not the Catholicism presented by the hierarchy.
No, it's not. Like, I mean, and people will get mad at me. They'll probably be pissed when I say this, but like, I've been saying for days, I've been talking with Ybarra, I've been putting this all online and stuff. I'm saying, like, what we see now that has come out of, let's just say, the 60s all the way up until now, the great gargantuan of what people call the church is genuinely not the Catholic Church. It can't be.
Wait, I have to address this. I am not crypto orthodox. I will never, ever, ever. I promise you guys. Look, because I know I say nice things about the East. I promise you, I will never go East. Like,
no, there's too many problems. You have to admit Our Lady was conceived in original sin.
No, it'll never happen.
Like, what? No.
Like, I'm not, but not even that. I'll never even go Byzantine Catholic. Like, I got a friend who's Byzantine Catholic, and I'm like, stop pretending you got some deep Eastern mysticism. Stop your bullshit with your fake left crucifix. Like, stop it. Stop it. Knock it off. I don't like it. You're a freaking Westerner. Like, be Western. Like, I don't like it. And I love this guy. He's probably in the chat right now.
Was he born Byzantine or was he?
No, he was born in the Novus Ordo when he went east. Because we're all trying to escape. We're all trying to escape the Novus Ordo, Nick.
Because the Novus Ordo is not Catholic, so it's
all right. Settle down. Stop saying such drastic stuff, Nick. You're so
no, it's true. There's literally no
Nick,
way.
So bombastic.
There's literally just no way that it's Catholic. That's just the problem. I mean, I really wish it was just so we could all chill out, but it's not. This is me without alcohol. That's the funny thing.
Wait, why don't you have a drink? It's New Year's Eve. Can you go get like a sip of bourbon?
I could actually, but the problem is that I'm kind of a weakling. I don't really like straight up bourbon by itself, so I need to find something to put it in.
So look, dude, I'm a freaking guinea. Like, for me to go east, like, I would feel like I betrayed my ancestors.
It's just like I don't care if people go to visit and like appreciate it, but to just straight up be like, yeah, I'm converting here, and the reason primarily is because I don't like the new mass.
Shut up, honey badger.
Like, we'll go Orthodox because they realize the people.
Nick, listen to me. Look, I just went to Rome. Like, I cannot tell you how much I felt like I was embracing my heritage when I went to Rome.
I can only imagine, bro.
Nick, I felt like I was like home. Like, I felt home in Italy.
No, it makes perfect sense. Like, I mean, this is nowhere near comparison, but like every time I go to a traditional monastery or to St. Mary's, Kansas, where like the culture is actually Catholic, you feel Catholic, and it's amazing. Get out of here, Orthodox Schismatic. Confess the filioque right now. Confess.
Okay, so look, here's what I'll say about the new mass. Like, I understand people that only have access to it.
I don't.
Like,
I know you don't, I only will accept it out of ignorance. Truly.
No,
if you're in ignorance, I totally understand, and I'm not like
Nick,
blasting
you're a hardliner.
No, seriously, there is literally no freaking way that Bugnini creation is
the new
from
mass
the Holy
is
Ghost.
awesome, Nick. You got to shut up. You are not embracing the council, and you need to be put in your place.
That mess.
I'm surprised Anthony didn't come back from Italy in a kente shiki.
Oh, that would have been so funny if you just like came back on the stream with that.
You guys are sick. You're all sick.
Bro, I'm not your dad. I ain't gonna pay for your gas. Go pay for your own gas. No. Pay for your own gas. Hey, we got him right. We got him in the chat. Thanks for showing up, Bunini. Yeah, as I was saying, this freak, he's the one who started this whole issue.
The thing is, Nick, you're such a hardliner.
I'm a hardliner because I've read what these guys have said. It's so clear. It's so clear. Like, people can get red pilled on like the JQ, they can get red pilled on the government, they can get red pilled on whatever they want. But it's when we talk about this, Catholics freak out, and I'm like,
the
but you
most-
also don't have like a second grade catechism knowledge. So, but then you're calling me like the extremist. The reality is these
Nick, you're an
freaks,
extremist.
these freaks imposed a neo-Protestant, neo-modernist
I
garbage system
don't
upon
even
us.
disagree with you. Look, okay, so I saw a clip of Matt Fradd today.
Mr.
He put like
Frad.
a clip of him and Jonathan Peugeot out. And one of the things he said was he goes, there's all these Protestant converts come in the 90s, and I'm gonna need to talk with one of them soon because like, what kind of baggage did you bring in? And I'm like, yes. Look, this is the debate that I have. Look, I'm a cradle. But when I see, look, you guys had Mike Pantile on while I was gone, right? Oh my God, Bobby, why would you do this?
Bobby, thanks, man.
No, because Bobby's the fake Westerner. I mean, the fake Easterner. This is why he's doing this. So I grew up Nova Sordo. That's what I was given as an inheritance. The Byzantine Church kept in communion with Rome. Nick, how can you say the Nova Sordo isn't legit and then scoff that I went to the only valid Catholic option of it? Shut up, Bobby.
Because
Bobby, you're a fraud. Like,
that's why.
Nick, I spent 2 weeks with this guy, watching him with his chotki, praying the Jesus prayer, praying the backwards crucifix. I wanted to kill him. Like,
Bobby, where are you from? What state are you from?
No, let me just tell you something. I literally begged him to send me a chotki. A chotki is it's not a rosary. It's basically a prayer bead rope where you say the Jesus prayer on. And I actually find the Jesus prayer amazing. Like even as a Westerner, I love the Jesus prayer. Bobby's in Virginia.
He's a Virginia. You're a fellow
He's
Southerner.
in Virginia. He grew up in the Nova Sordo, but he makes the sign of the cross backwards. I wanted to punch him in his stupid face when we went to We went to Assisi, and he's making the cross. I wanted to kill him.
I'm all about Latin right supremacy, so I totally agree with you.
I actually am pretty ecumenical compared to this lunatic I'm on screen with.
I'm just Catholic. He's ecumenical.
So, all right. So Matt says these Protestants, they came in the 90s and it was kind of exciting. But like, what kind of baggage did you bring in? Like, you think our liturgy is beautiful, but it's like, you had no liturgy. And dude, I wanted to talk to Matt. So but the thing is, Matt stopped responding to me. Like, I used to have a friendship with Matt and he would respond to me. Matt cut me off. Like, I must have said, I don't know what I said. I don't know what I did.
Right.
I don't know if maybe the stuff he did with Trent. It's probably the Trent stuff, right?
That or you never know. He might just be busy. You never know.
Nah, he's mad at me. I can tell. Like he won't like I want to be friends with these guys. Like I think they're of goodwill. Like I want to be friends with anybody that's of goodwill. That's my position. Like Nick, I know you want to excommunicate anybody. Anthony actually got mad at me in mass and told me to do it the right way.
Dude, honestly, that was the most based Anthony moment ever. Correcting you.
I wanted to smack him. Like, dude, stop your backwards crucifix, backwards side of the I can't even fathom making the left first. Like, it just drove me nuts. I hope everybody knows. Like, I literally love Bobby, but I was baptized 3 weeks ago, Byzantine from Prat. It was all foreign to me. I don't know what I do now, but I'm staying where I am now. Nova Sordo killed the faith of my family. I'm the only Catholic since my grandma. Okay, so this is I'm
in a similar boat, man, except the Byzantine part.
All right, so this is something there's no way Brad is just busy.
I was trying to make Anthony feel better, bro. I was trying to make him feel better. I always try to give some people the benefit of the doubt. You just never know. You never know.
No, it's not that. Don is calling me a narcissist. It has to be about me. You guys not pick up on the subtlety of Don. Don is saying, there's no way Brad is just busy. It has to be about Anthony. That's what Don is doing. But okay, so here's something I have to say. Dude, it's very difficult if you have a family and you're trying to raise your kids in the faith. And I just know from my own experience that my parents brought me to the Novus Ordo and I lost my faith. Like I literally lost my faith because and my parents weren't just, oh, let's take you to the Novus Ordo. My parents sent me to like the life team stuff. Like they were like, you gotta do the retreat. And like I'm at the retreat and like everybody's crying around me because they got the Holy Spirit. I'm like, God, do you hate me? Like, why does everybody get the Holy Spirit but me? Like, I don't get it. Why is literally Nick? I don't know if they were faking it. Like, I couldn't tell if they were all a few more beers for Anthony start drunk calling.
Dude, everyone send some money over so we can get this guy some more.
No,
beer.
listen.
So I want to see this happen live.
When Frad came on, like he wanted to hang with us and he wanted to like talk with us. Like, I think Matt wants to be cool with us, but I'll shoot him a message and he doesn't respond anymore. And I don't like that. Like, I'm not going to beg you for your friendship. Like, I don't really like if you're going to blow me off. Look, I will beg in the beginning because I'm a nobody. But like once we have an interaction, if you blow me off after that, like
after you've talked to me, I'm a somebody, and so
yeah, no, it's just like once we've had an interaction, like now, like you're not special, like anybody, nobody's special. Like I'm not special, like nobody's special. So if we've had an interaction and then you stop talking to me, I'm just like, well, I'm not gonna like beg you to come on my show. Like, dude, I reached out to Brian Holdsworth. I shot him a DM the other day, and I was like, "Hey, Brian, I genuinely love Brian Holdsworth.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Like, I genuinely love that guy. Like, I look, my perspective on all this stuff is, I don't know. And Nick, I know you think you know everything, but like, you don't know. Like, none of us actually
I don't know everything.
know.
Just most of everything.
You think you do, but the thing is, like, a guy like Brian Holdsworth is like, he's a good dude and he's doing his best to bring his family up Catholic. And it's a really confusing time. So, like, if you don't have an exact perspective that I have, like, I'm not going to hold that against somebody. And I reached out to Brian Holdsworth and he was like, "Hey, Anthony, just shoot me an email. Let's set up a date." Like, Brian Holdsworth was so freaking cool about it. Like, I shot him a DM on Twitter and he goes, "Hey, this is my email. Shoot me a date. Let's set something up." Right. Like I still want to think Matt is that guy. But also like Matt is on a freaking level where he's got Jordan Peterson and Jonathan Peugeot coming on. So I don't know if it's that he's just like an arrogant douche.
I don't know. In all seriousness, like the way I genuinely just try to see is like you never know because of just how crazy this world is.
Should we shoot Ryan? I'm gonna shoot you a link if you want to come and hang. If you guys don't know who Ryan is,
I've heard the name Ryan Riviere.
So Ryan is invited guest, hang on, copy. So Ryan is Gavin McInnes's producer.
Oh, cool.
So so Ryan is Gavin McInnes's producer. So I don't know if he's able to come on, but he's welcome to come on. So Ryan and I go to the same parish. He is the producer for Gavin McInnes. But yeah, so anyway, with Matt, you know what, like, I know I'm drinking and I probably shouldn't be saying this stuff. The last few messages I sent Matt, he didn't respond. And I'm not gonna beg. Yeah. Like, I'm just not. Oh, look who's this. Look who it is. Hey, Ryan Katsu Rivera. Ryan, I gotta say something.
Yes.
So a lot of people are talking about children misbehaving in mass.
Yeah.
And your freaking kids cried throughout the entire mass, and I'm sick of it.
Untrue.
It's definitely untrue.
Calumny.
No, listen to me. All right. So Ryan has 2 kids, And
Actually, 3. You deny life in the womb? Is this correct?
no, his wife. I was going to say your wife is pregnant, but your daughter Daphne,
Yeah,
literally has my heart. Like
she's the best. We still have that thing. You gave her like a thing from the keychain, and it was during the you had Holy Innocents for the Easter Vigil, and she was kind of freaking out a little bit. It's a long mass, and you gave her like some cute thing that's like a kind of like a pearl little keychain. Did you want that back? Was that just to? Oh, okay.
Dude, your daughter. So my daughter's 13 and his daughter's 2, and when all right. So when I first met Ryan, I was like, "You're coming to Easter Vigil with us, and we're going out to dinner together." I'm like, "You have no choice, right?"
Right. I've been invited to things by Italians before. It was a very familiar. It's like, dude, you and me, we're friends, but you going here, and I'm like, all right, bro, where's the gun? That's
like, no, dude, like you don't have a choice. Like we're going to Easter Vigil together. So we went to Easter Vigil together, and my 13-year-old daughter was there, and my 13-year-old was with Ryan's 2-year-old, and the two of them were so freaking cute together, dude. Like my daughter fell in love with his daughter. So I saw Ryan. So I was away in Italy for a couple of weeks, and then I saw Ryan at Mass on Sunday, and just seeing your daughter, man, like she is. Oh my God, man! I don't know how you don't eat her face.
I've heard that from plenty of people. They're like, "How do you stop from biting her?"
Because she is the cutest little girl. She's so sweet.
She was a terror today. She really was.
Never at Mass though.
No, and that's the thing too. Is like, so there was an Anglican, I think, that posted on Twitter, and it was like that's what started the controversy, right? And I said, you should go to Catholicism. It kind of confuses me that Anglican, they accept so much of the faith. It's like they just have to have pretty much a bad experience.
Ryan, why hasn't this is a question.
Every Anglican is one bad day away from conversion.
Why hasn't Gavin been on our show?
That'd be an interesting interview.
I don't think he would uphold the faith well. I've said it to him publicly. Like there was something, just he was in error about something theological, or he was kind of just like waxing fantastic about what heaven might be like. Just something. I've had to ask my priest a couple of times, like, am I complicit in like blasphemy essentially because of being on the show? And he knows that I take it more seriously than him. I'm not talking out of school here. This is a theme on the show that he's like, it feels kind of petty to pray for my kids' little league team to win. And I'm like, well, this is what you can pray. You could say, Lord, please, if it is in your will, let all the members of my son's team perform at their best. May they be focused. May they be concentrated. May they be of good health, and may everybody be safe. And you can do a prayer like that. That's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
You don't have to say, I pray my team will win, but you pray that for the individual players that they're good. And he was just like, all right, shut up. Nobody cares. And so after the show, I was like, I'm for the first time ever, I've never been tempted to have a podcast of my own, but I was like, maybe I should do like a Catholic take on all of the things that we've heard on this show, and then kind of give like a sort of, hey, let's not be so reactionary about this, or maybe this is the correct way to go about it if you're curious about a higher Christian virtue and this whole thing. And I was like, it'd be good because I'm not contradicting you because you have zero theological takes whatsoever. And he just like laughed. And he thought it was a good idea, so I might do that.
That'd be cool.
Okay, so
he won't be coming on for
what's
long story short, he's not coming on.
Yeah.
All right, but what? No, I wouldn't say he's never coming on.
He can come on, bro.
I don't think he's never coming. All right. So what's interesting is this show wouldn't exist without Anthony Cumia.
Yeah.
Like it's a very interesting thing. So like Anthony Cumia had such an effect on me growing up that like I always wanted to broadcast.
Oh yeah.
Like I wanted to be a radio guy because of Anthony Cumia.
That's why you were named Anthony.
Well, it was just one of those things where he was like a guy from Long Island, and he happened to be funny, and he was a tin knocker, like he was a construction guy.
Yeah,
and I'm
that's
like,
true. I forgot. Yeah.
I'm like, I freaking think like I could do what he does.
He's your confirmation broadcaster.
Yeah, something like that, dude. Like, I'm not even like exaggerating. Like, because I used to watch him, like I wanted to do what he does. Like he had a very big effect on me, man.
Yeah, he rules. Yeah.
And even though he's not in the faith and he's not like, he just had a very big effect on me growing up, because I was a construction guy driving in on Long Island and listening to him. It made me want to do this.
Yeah.
And there's elements of this show that are because of him, where it's like we kind of make fun of ourselves, right? Like we goof on ourselves. Like I don't take myself too seriously. A lot of that has to do with Anthony making fun of Jimmy and things like that. So
right.
I still, whether I get Gavin or not, like I still want to interview Anthony. Like,
I think you shouldn't. I think it's totally possible. Yeah, in the new year, I'll push him towards that direction. I think he'd be open to it. His girl is actually very Catholic. I think even traditionally Catholic. But for a guy who's been listening to Opie and Anthony for a long time, and I'll be showing Happy New Year, Enoch. That's awesome. Met him at Catholic Palooza.
Oh, Enoch. That's right.
Yeah, he killed it. And
wait, listen. I met so we were all at Catholic Palooza, and there was an Asian kid that was at Catholic Palooza named Steven. And I spent like most of the day hanging with this kid Steven.
Thinking it was me.
Yeah, but you all look alike. I don't know what to tell you, bro.
All the same.
Like, we hung out.
You all look alike. I don't know what to tell you. So no, I hung out with this kid Steven. He's a recent Catholic convert, and I saw him at Mass on Sunday when I went to
that was him. Yeah,
Holy Innocents. So I saw
never
him
mind. Is he short? And he has like
very short. He's little.
Well, that doesn't really help. Asian.
I was going to say, we're talking about Asians, right?
a short Asian kid.
Yeah, that's true.
So
I wonder if we're talking about the same guy.
I saw him at Mass on Sunday, and he was in the communion line, and I like poked him. I'm like, hey man, what's up? And
he's in the communion line. Hey, what's up?
He got mad at me. And so then after Mass, he came outside, and like a few people were coming up and asking for pictures and stuff, and he was just standing there like staring at me, and I'm like, "What's up, man?" And it's like, I was very focused on communion, and you poked me. And I'm like, dude.
Yeah, so like when I saw you at the last Mass on Long Island there, you came up to the pew. I mean, this is before the Mass started, but still, like, it's funny because you came up to the back of the pew and you're like, we're chatting a little bit, but quietly. And it just clicked to me. I know Nick's saying no, but I think the convert versus or late revert versus cradle, it's different because it's like, well, this is my house. Like I can put my feet up on the table. It's like, but for converts, we're so like
nerds.
You want to
freaking nerd. I came over to say hello to my friend, and I knew I couldn't hang out after Mass, and I came over and I can't look. Here's what it is.
Naturalist, bro. Concerned with the here and now.
For the third time, a convert would never answer his phone during the Mass, and then another person answered their phone during a Mass. It was Nova Sordo, relax. But during the prayers, the words of consecration, he was like, and it was the typical like default grandpa phone.
Look at this. Look at this. I don't care if you think this is boring. We're hanging out. It's New Year's Eve. Like, what do you think this show is? We're hanging out. It's New Year's Eve. Like, I don't know. Boring. Go find another show, Sarmata. What the hell? What even nationality are you?
Definitely not American. Definitely not American.
Nick, block this guy.
Listen, we're drinking, okay, folks? I'm over here with, I don't know how much alcohol per volume, but this is a diet.
First off, wait, you're telling me there was a cradle who let his phone ring more than once at Mass? Is that what you're telling me?
I'm assuming he was cradle because
it definitely was.
He was like 80.
All right, he's excommunicated. Look,
he watched the Horn video, and now he's
the rule is you get one ring on your phone because you forgot.
Right.
If your phone rings twice, you're in mortal sin. That's the rule.
If your phone rings twice, you're not a convert.
You're not even
you don't
Catholic.
Have the fear of overstepping your bounds in this new family.
Yo, we're taking away your H-1B visa.
Good one, Sean.
Look,
You know, somewhere in America, there's an American commenter who lost his job to Samsada. Okay?
Real.
He's
Real.
taking the job of American Dad comments.
It's always wait, no, I missed it. It's always the old people.
That's true. Wait, did you want to tie that up? Because I was going to bring up something about Cumia.
No, I'm just saying, like, look, I knew I couldn't speak to you after mass because my daughters were falling asleep. It was midnight. First of all, we're talking about midnight mass, okay? We're not talking about a Sunday mass.
Yeah, that's right.
It was midnight mass. Now, settle down. Me and my family got there at 11:20 for midnight mass, and we had a very nice seat. Ryan showed up at 12:02 and got the last row in the freaking church.
I was there 11:40 latest.
All right. I'm just saying.
Acceptable. Moral theology gives the thumbs up to that. So
that's what I'm talking about.
Nick, don't ever take the freaking Asian guy's side. Are you
I
kidding
hate
me?
to take the Asian guy's side. I'm always America for Americans, but he's not wrong in this situation.
Nick, this guy is literally here on a freaking H-1B visa. Did you guys hear Wesley Huff went on Joe Rogan? Yeah, I will listen to that. I guess it's a follow-up to Huff's debate with Billy Carson. I'm going to listen to that and pull any clips and see if we can do a show on that, because look, whether they're Catholic or not, a Christian pushing.
Yeah.
Nope.
I mean, all right, Nick, here's the thing.
But sometimes not, because sometimes they'll misrepresent. Sometimes they'll slip in anti-Catholic things without you even knowing it. Like if you watch a Ben Shapiro, so it's like Jew versus Christian, you're like, I'm rooting for the Christian. But then like it's the one guy, I don't know if it's John MacArthur, I think it was.
Yeah.
Who was like, and that's why, faith alone it just kind of slips things in there.
Jew versus
No,
heretic.
all right.
All
Well, listen to me. So the more I argue with Protestants online, the less patience I have for them, and the more I understand that it's a totally different religion, dude. They're not like most of them don't relate. Look, Bughole put out a tweet the other day, and he was like, Protestants don't actually worship God, they worship themselves. And he's not wrong. Like there's something so twisted about Protestant theology that it's not it's not Christian. You can what they believe is they invented a religion loosely based on the Bible, right. But it is not. So the Bible is not. Catholicism is not a religion based on the Bible. The Bible is the story of Catholicism.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Catholicism gets its teaching from the Bible as a source.
No, Nick, did you hear what I said?
Yeah, you said that that the Bible is the story of Catholicism.
Yes, it is. The Bible is the story of Catholicism.
I get what you're saying, but I'm saying that, like, yes, that's true in one sense, but the Bible is a font of revelation. So we get Catholicism or the divinely revealed deposit base from the Bible and tradition, of course. But no, this is perfect. Bible... It's a drunk Anthony and a moral theologian. And an Asian. What better can you get?
I'll fight this. I don't care. No, listen to me.
I love this.
Protestantism is a religion loosely based on a Catholic book.
That I agree with. You're right there.
Where Catholicism, the Bible is the story of the Catholic faith, because it starts in Genesis with a covenant and it leads through the story of the people of God. Like, I don't say that to provoke when I write that on Twitter. Like, that actually is denying dogma to own the prize. I've never done that. Have I? Have I denied dogma to own the prize?
No, you're just drunk. It's okay. No.
I am. Like, I'm speaking out of turn here, but I see scripture as...
He'd probably be better than it, Sean.
Honestly, should work at Catholic Answer.
With the crap they've been giving us for the last 20 years.
All right. You know what? You guys are lucky I'm not crying on this episode. I'm like 7 drinks in.
It's not over yet.
But first off, do you guys see the shirt my son made me? Wait,
that is really sick. Actually, I saw that.
the shirt underneath the hoodie.
My son goes, Dad, put your arms in cruciform.
Oh, that's sick. Actually,
yeah, that's pretty cool, right?
Yeah,
it necessitates you doing that to reveal that, which is interesting.
Yeah, so my son made this for me. This was my Christmas gift from my son.
That's really nice.
Avoiding Babylon logo here, And then he goes, Dad, put your arms in cruciform. And it was avoiding Babylon.
That's actually cool.
I was like, all right, that's cool. But like, when am I putting my arms out like that, dude? Like, what the hell kind of gift is that?
You know, that's I can tie this back to Kumia too, because like, so his girl is very very Catholic, but what's it called? So it's for a guy that's been listening to One as long as I have, he's always been like pretty staunchly atheist, like enough so that when he uses the term God like meaningfully lately, like he's like, I thank God, and like he pauses before he says it, and then he'll casually say, he's like, of course, be with your family and, and God and stuff. Like he's been mentioning, and for Gavin, I don't think he really registers that, because I'll show Gavin clips of Opie and Anthony that he's never seen before. Like the interview where they're interviewing Donald Rumsfeld, and Louis C.K. keeps asking him if he's a reptilian during it.
Wait,
and then Anthony's
like, chill out. Ryan, sometimes I feel that Gavin is a bit scandalizing during Get Off My Lawn. I love you both so much. You're both totally unique thoughts, baby monster.
I agree. I agree. Yeah, it's like if your advice to find a wife is to like fornicate with 5 women.
Dude, that's the one thing about Gavin.
Heck no.
Nick,
no,
Nick,
look, insane.
Nick,
and the thing is, he's not willing.
Heck no.
My role on the show is like the useful idiot, the sort of like funny but retarded guy.
I know one of those.
Yeah. All right, so wait, Ryan, I want to ask you something. Do you think you'll ever get to a point where your conscience will get in the way of your job?
Oh yeah, no, it's just happening. Even on Twitter, like the things that I'll say on Twitter, that's kind of like instigating.
Is he still on Twitter, or did he get thrown off?
No, not between him and I, but just like I'll put out statements of like apologetic statements, but pretty aggressively aimed towards Protestants, because I was one. Like I feel like I have. I'm one of them. I could say the word. Yeah. I could. Like I have, I'm on the other side of this kind of delusion that my potential brothers in Christ could get over, and it's like, but I know that I'm just getting it out there because I know one day I'm just gonna probably walk away from social media, or at least that's the goal.
Yeah. And I definitely wouldn't. Do you think you'll ever walk away from Gavin? Dude, listen to me. All right, wait.
I don't think
before you answer that,
it would be a sort of just
before you answer that.
Yeah,
I want to try to because even the stuff. All right, so this episode is about James White, right? And James White calling me out for some of the stuff I post on Twitter. Look, like this isn't. We'll be held to account for every idle word, right? So, like, I can make light and say, I'm just doing it for the lulz.
Mm-hmm.
But some of the stuff I say might cause a little bit of scandal, right? So it's like, right. Dude, I'm not even kidding. I was thinking about it today. I'm like, God, am I selling my soul for $200 a month? Like, I'm not, it's not like, I'd rather like delete my Twitter account than lose my soul. Like It's not, dude, the things that we're doing, even this show, it's a very heavy burden we have that. All right, so you need to make content that people want to watch, but are we engaging in gossip? Are we engaging in, I don't know, man. This is dude. I think about this stuff all the time. Like I'd rather be poor than lose my soul. So I'm worried about the stuff I post on Twitter. I'm being honest. Like I'm worried about stuff. Like I think it's funny, and I think I'm just doing it for goofs and laughs. But like if I've ever brought anybody away from Catholicism because of some stupid shit I posted, like I worry about that, man. Like.
It's real because, like, I mean, scandal is one of the chief sins against the virtue of charity, and like charity is what unites us to God. So it's a real
me too well.
It's a real thing.
No, I'd say just be a little more careful. But you could also, I wish there was like a Catholic community notes where it's like, listen, Anthony's struggling with there's a tug of war between being funny and then being orthodox, lowercase. Oh.
Okay, so wait, this so no, the one. All right, so look, we see Jesus weep. We see every emotion of Christ except mirth, right? So Chesterton points this out. Chesterton points this out, and it's a very significant thing. Like, we never once see Jesus laugh. We never once see what Jesus finds funny. Like, this is very important, right? Why would God leave that out of his word? Where, like, there's not a single instance where Jesus is with family and he had joy and he laughed. Like, we see him pull out his whip and get angry. We see him weep. We see him stern. Like, we see every emotion of Christ, but we never see him have mirth. And I'm very sarcastic, man. Like, I worry. I don't want to go to hell over Twitter. Like, I really don't. Right. I don't want to go to hell over it. And well, I'm very provocative.
You might not have before, but now that you have full awareness that every time you do, now you're fully culpable now. Because
but Ryan, I'm always fully culpable. Like, every time. Look, I'm not. This isn't the first time I've thought about this. Like, okay, so when I say something like, the thief on the cross was saved by the prayers of Mary because she was at the foot of the cross. Right. Is that something that's pious that would be in the glories of Mary? Or is that something like, I don't know.
You know what?
It comes down to intention. What's your intention behind that? Because there's nothing this is one thing I will say. There is nothing wrong with Catholics. I think Catholics need to be singing the praises of Our Lady.
I'm really sick of Molly pointing out.
This is true. He does bring this up every month. I would say this, though, in all seriousness, I don't think Catholics need to apologize for their devotion to Mary. Like, that's the problem.
I don't either, but
I think that the glories of Mary, like, we should all be talking like that all the time. But what I'm saying is, if you need to just say, okay, what is my intention with this? Because like, vice and virtue comes from the will. And so whatever you're choosing to do, whether it's like, hey, I'm just wanting to get people mad at this, or if you're like, I want people to realize, like, Our Lady, all graces flow from her, right? From Christ through her. Then there's your answer, So you have to
it's a doubling down. The sense I get from you, Anthony, it's like it's a doubling down where it's like, like, usually it's a thing that's tiptoed. It's like, no, we pray for her.
I actually hate
the tiptoeing.
When I hate when Catholics say we don't worship Mary, we just ask her intercession. Like, screw you, I freaking worship her. Like,
no,
and it's
don't.
not,
and you can't say
and
that.
it's not.
What's the difference?
Obviously, it's a very different worship that we give to God, right? But have you ever seen the photo of all the angels and saints holding the gown of Our Lady in heaven, and they're all on their knees, like that's worship, but it's just not. It's not the same worship we give God. But dude, my favorite,
you're not offering anything.
Ryan, my favorite mystery of the Rosary is the crowning of Our Lady in heaven. It is like, I've never had a deeper experience in the Rosary than the crowning of Our Lady in heaven, to the point where I've wept during it, because I had when I was away from the faith, and this isn't when I was away for a long time. Like, so I had my reversion and I came back, and then I left the sacraments during Francis's papacy because I just kind of got, like, very weighed down under the Francis papacy, and I just got sick of it and I left. And then I had a dream that I was in hell, and it was the most real dream I ever had in my life. And I woke up, and the first thing I saw was a documentary on Fatima. And after I saw this documentary, like, the fear of hell was put in me. So I called my younger brother, and then I called my cousin Eddie. And I might have told this on air, but I told my younger brother, and I told my cousin Eddie, and it was the strangest thing. He watched the same documentary on Fatima, and so did my cousin. They, like, all three of us watched the same documentary on Fatima in the same 3-day period. And for me to attribute my salvation to anyone other than Our Lady. When the coincidences that happened around this thing, like I had this vision of myself in hell. I saw this documentary on Fatima and all the things that were happening around, like it just everything in me knows Our Lady saved me.
Right.
Yeah.
Like everything in me knows Our Lady saved me. Like I was going to hell. And my mother freaking opened the window and saved me. So for me, when I see Catholics tiptoe around that and they're like, no, we don't worship her. No. We just ask her to screw you. I literally pray to her as if she is the one who will save me, not because she died on the cross, but because
she's
I
using
know
the graces of
like I just know, like, Mom, please be merciful to me, even if God and Jesus, like I know I've done such horrible things, but like, Mom, please just and a part of that is and I've told this on the show too, so I hope people that have seen this don't get upset. A part of that comes down to the way I saw my mom handle my younger brother's addiction, where all the men in my family, so my younger brother was a heroin addict, and all the men were so angry at my mom because we thought she was enabling my younger brother. And my younger brother, when he was doing heroin, would come to my mom and she kind of kept this like window open for my brother to always come back, And we were all like, Mom, what are you doing? Like, this kid's a freaking drug addict. Like, we were waiting for months for my brother to overdose. Like every day my phone would ring. If I saw my mom call, I thought I was getting a phone call. My brother overdosed and he was dead. And over enough time, my mom kept this little window open and my brother got clean.
Wow.
And the only one my brother would ever talk to was my mother, because my mother always kept this little avenue open for him to come back. Right. Now, this was 7 or 8 years ago. Now, like, I got my brother back, dude. Like, my brother's been clean for 5 years, and like I got my freaking. This is my closest brother, Ryan. Like, this is not. I have 8 siblings, right? This is my brother who is 16 months younger than me. He's my Irish twin brother.
Oh, wow.
Me and him grew up together. Me and him both got into the same riffraff together. We both started taking OxyContin together. I got clean when my son was born. My brother moved on to heroin. I thought for years I was getting that phone call my brother was going to die, and my mother was just this, man, we were so freaking mad at her that she would just leave this avenue open for him. And then when he got clean, he went to rehab and he got thrown out of rehab, and my mother took him herself, just her and him, to my dad's house in Pennsylvania, this trailer. My dad had like a freaking like trailer park trash trailer. And my mom spent 3 freaking months with my brother alone, just the two of them at this trailer. And all of us thought she was nuts. But if I didn't see that aspect of my mom having this mercy, like this angle of mercy with my younger brother, where none of the men, dude, all the men were like, cut him off, like, stop. And my mom, like, if I didn't see that in my mom, I would have never understood Our Lady.
Has anybody drawn the conclusion, like, typologically, that it was Eve that presented the apple to Adam, and the sort of negative intercession? You know what I mean? The sort of negative offering of something. And then, you know what I mean? And then in the reverse way, where Mary, the new Eve, corrects all those things. She's the one offering the prayers on behalf of men and offering them to
the fruit of the tree of life. Yeah, the fruit of the tree of life, the new Adam. Yeah, no, that's it's been talked about, but I like the way that you bring it up. I agree with you fully, Anthony. Like, I mean, I remember whenever I got when God kind of smacked me upside the head, it was through the hands of Mary, because I remember for a long time. So like coming into the church, again, everyone knows my story, but it was just highly intellectual. There was a lot of bad habits in my mind I had to correct from Protestantism. Like we meme Protestantism, but there's some really sick like mind habits if you grow up in it that you have to overcome. Particularly, I had to overcome the reality that like my sin actually will send me to hell. Like, it's not that I'm just this special class and one day God will save me, et cetera, et cetera. Like, no, like this, like you're no one special. Like God will send you to hell for this.
Right.
So I remember once, this is when God really just like slapped me upside the head. I was in this church and I was waiting for confession and had like 30 minutes, right? So I'm in there praying and I kind of look up and pictorially I see the judgment. Like, and it just like all of it crashes down on me where I'm like, wow, I am going to go to the judgment one day. And I am going to more likely than not, as St. Alphonsus Liguori talks about, the way you live is the way you die. If you live in habitual mortal sin, you will die in mortal sin. Why? Because you've bent your will to go after bad stuff. This is also, by the way, why priests need to withhold absolution from what's called recidivist sinners. Those are sinners that use the confessional as a revolving door. The reason the priest needs to do that is because the priest is enabling you in your bad will to continue. So I'm sitting there and I'm just trembling because I'm recognizing the judgment is real. And then I'm looking up at the cross and who's right next to it in this church? It's Our Lady, right? Yeah. And I just get woken up being the reality of like, she is a human, right? She's a creature, but she is the most perfect human, the most perfect creature who ever lived. That, as St. Louis de Montfort, St. Alphonsus, they talk about, God has given her all graces in order to reach down and save me. So I remember in that moment saying like something to the effect of like, Mary, Queen or Refuge of Sinners, Queen of Christians, etc., please pull me out. I went, had confession. It was like the most insane confession experience I ever had. Walked out and God freed me from a lot of bad stuff. But it was in hindsight, I realized I was dangling over the fire. And Our Lady was the one that pulled me out.
Yeah. So like, I wonder if even that statement that I made to Dr. White, like we didn't even play the full clip, right? But he goes into saying like, he argues with Calvin Robinson. He's like, I've never seen this argument made in the first 1,000 years. Can you point me to Origen? Can you point me
confused? Yes.
It's like, dude, this technically was a throwaway comment by me, but the first time I thought of it was because I saw Protestants arguing over the thief on the cross. And then I saw a bunch of Catholics going, well, actually the thief on the cross did a bunch of works. And if you go, he repented and he did and I'm like, who the hell was at the foot of the cross? Like, I don't care if Origen never saw it. I don't care if, like, I just don't care. Like, I know that if I had Our Lady at the place I was dying,
and then you're seeming merciful, then it's like, well, what's interesting too about the Mary is because like there's two things that a Protestant probably would struggle with is that if you're trying to be like Christ, then you have to love and embrace your mother. You have to love Mary. You have to love her to a level that you were previously uncomfortable with. And they just do so much like lowering and pushing her down. And it's just, it's for me, it was the rosary because I'm in a Catholic rock band and we were on the way to a show and we were praying a rosary. That was the first rosary I ever prayed. So I was just saying the latter part of it, he would say the first part, we would say the last part. And then after that, I was like, it was kind of destigmatized. It was like, okay, that's not that. And also at that point, I was so like disillusioned with Protestantism because I was looking for a church. And I was like, what's like the church? Like, where do I go to? Like, is it Lutheran, Methodist, what is this? Not Calvin, but, and so I was just, my defenses were totally down and I had looked up some things and, my friends helped demystify the sort of like, the controversies against the church and like the typical boilerplate 101. I've never looked into it, but I heard he made that hand symbol. It's like, first of all, he didn't. That's a Photoshop. But second of all, that's retarded.
He made the hand symbol. Therefore,
I was literally on like the Vatican audience hall is shaped like a snake level. Like that's just evil. That's evil. We're done here.
IFB nonsense.
Dude, I went and saw an audience with Pope Francis. Okay. And I'm like, Man, is this the Pope I gotta see the audience?
I love him. I think he's great. I mean, I think he does cause a lot of confusion, but I don't know. We've definitely had worse. And
Ryan, you know why? Can I tell you?
Mm-hmm.
You are you still have dude, you're a recent convert.
The happy to be here thing.
Yeah, like dude, you still have that that low. It's like I'm Catholic, man. I freaking got everything.
I was there once.
Yeah, no, it's where so, and I'm not knocking anything you're saying right now. Like that was actually beautiful, the things you said. Dude, there's something very beautiful about the Catholic instinct to just love the Pope, right? Like that's what you should do.
It's the easiest thing for me to do, for sure.
It's like just love the Pope. Like just love the Pope. And dude, I'm somebody who loves Pope Alexander VI. Like I love
He's the one person, the one cultist.
I freaking love the most heinous popes in history. So for me, who is somebody who loves the most heinous popes in history, I actually still have a love for Pope Francis. Like I do.
Right.
The thing is when man, I have Francis fatigue, and I'm just like ready. Yeah. I'm ready for this to be done. Like that's just where I'm at.
Have you seen? No, and I was basically there when I started, because I started just Tradcath, and I had to kind of like ease up because I was realizing that I have to love the Novus Ordo in as much as I was going to say the Catholic thing, insofar as
no, you don't.
But like Ryan, I know you don't. Like, so
I don't personally, but I also want to understand it so that way I could realize, like, what am I sending people to if I tell them to go see a mass, and then they're willing to go to a mass rather.
Read Boonini's book. You'll know what you're sending them to. Read Boonini's book.
Yeah,
the liturgy.
I've seen the Unicorn Novus Ordos though. They were pretty. People receiving on the tongue and kneeling.
They're still not. I have two. Like I've been to St. Rocco's when they're the Unicorn. I've been to Holy Innocents when they're the Unicorn. It's still
right.
Like Ryan, that's the thing. Like, so the first time I met Ryan was because I saw Ryan at a Latin mass. Like that's the irony of this conversation. Like
that's the one we don't go to Novus Ordo, we go to Latin mass.
No, we go to the Latin mass. Like I saw Ryan at the Latin mass, and I actually shot him a message on Twitter, and I'm like, dude, were you at a Latin mass on Long Island? And I shot him the parish we go to, and he was like, yeah. It's like, so that's how like Ryan and I met, because I saw a Japanese guy at mass, and I'm like,
I'm sorry, man.
No, I'm like it's got to be him, but like you don't want to go up to the one Japanese guy at mass and be like,
"Are you Steven?" Yeah, it could be the.
So I sent him a message, and I'm like, "Dude, I know you all look alike, but like that really looked like you."
Yeah, that one was really. I'm like, you got lucky.
Like all you freaking Asians look the same, but like
I can attest to that.
Look like you, dude.
When I go into a group of them, it's like Assassin's Creed when you like synchronize.
But so true, so true. I don't actually. It's interesting. I don't really have Francis fatigue, in all honesty, in the sense that like, you always go through your scandalized phase, and then if you continue to study, you kind of like adjust, if you will, one way or another. What scares me about things, though, is as a catechist teacher to children, to 8th graders, to 6th graders, 7th graders, etc. These kids are in a world where pornography is one click away. The priest is absolving everybody. They're saying horrible masses that are, it's in the rubrics, by the way. Like there is like the new mass that typically people see is the new mass. It's not like a watered down abuse. There's really is no such thing as liturgical abuse in the new mass. Almost every single thing that we complain at is in the rubrics of the general instruction. Like I was going to say, I was going to recommend everyone, minus the Sede thesis in here when it comes to the new mass being invalid. I disagree with that. But if you want to read a good book on the subject, Father Anthony Giacchetta's book is like one of the definitive works on it. It's like 600 pages on the history, the actual teachings of the new mass, etc. My whole point is this, though. Like those students who are out there or going to public school, which is a sin against the virtue of faith, but their parents don't know any better, et cetera, et cetera. They're going through the motions. How can I bring the person of Christ to them? And I can't, in all honesty, say that what they're going through right now is normal. So I have to kind of, and this is why I know it's a meme, but this is why I love Archbishop Lefebvre. He was all about being a good pastor. I'm not a priest, but I want these kids to go to heaven. And what terrifies me is these kids who are ill-formed, they go on Twitter and what do they see? All religions lead to heaven.
Well, and first off, this is BS because Christian Wagner goes to an Eastern liturgy. That's the other thing that I have to say. Like all these guys that, like, I love Christian Wagner. Like he's my friend. Like he's like legit friend. Matt Fradd too. Trent Horn. Like all these guys are Novus Ordo apologists all go east.
Mm-hmm. Isn't Joe Heschmeyer Eastern Catholic as well?
All of them are, even like Voice of Reason. You freaking love Voice of Reason. What does he do? They all, listen to me, they'll all defend the Novus Ordo, but they all do everything they can to escape it because the Novus Ordo, Ryan, listen to me. Your kids are little, right?
Yeah.
I know you. You're not taking your kids to the Novus Ordo because, listen to me, here's why. I went to the Novus Ordo. Like I am the epitome of the cradle Catholic. My parents took me not just to the Novus Ordo. My parents took me to the Life Team Mass. My parents brought me on retreat. I lost my freaking faith. Your kids are going to lose their faith. And that's why when I go to a Latin Mass, people recognize me because those are the Catholics taking their faith seriously. Dude, it's okay. Like if you got to go because you have no other choice. And Nick won't agree with that, but I do agree with that. Like Nick, I get Nick's position. I understand it.
We love each other anyway.
No, I love you regardless of you being wrong on this. There are times, and Nick will say the same thing. There are times where it's like I don't have access to the Latin Mass, and I'll go to the Novus Ordo. And Ryan, I know you're in the same boat, but if you bring your kids consistently to that, you're putting your child's faith in jeopardy. And I know you as a father will not do that. Like I know you won't, because I know you see the difference at St. Dude, when I wrote that tweet about kids crying at Mass the other day, I wasn't kidding. Like we go to St. Rocco's, there are the whole freaking parish is loaded with little children. None of them cry. They all just sit there. They're all well behaved. They don't cry. Like there's this whole debate about like kids crying at Mass, and it's like, I don't know. I go to a freaking parish where it's loaded with infants and babies and toddlers, and none of them cry. You know why? Because they're mesmerized by the Latin Mass. Like there's something about being there that like kind of just chills the kids out.
We're gonna start teaching Daphne prayers in Latin. I think we should.
Dude, my wife converted because I taught my children to pray in Latin. Like my wife was in the kitchen doing dishes, and I was in the den teaching my 3 kids how to pray the Hail Mary, and I taught them all how to pray the Our Father. And when I taught the Liturgy of St. John Chrysostom, no, it's not Bobby. Bobby, make the sign of the cross the right freaking way. I'm so sick of this kid. Freaking ruined my trip to Italy. I literally love him more than anybody in the world. I'm sorry, Ryan. I cut you off.
No, it's all right. No, but learning, she knows already, the Our Father, Hail Mary, the Glory Be, and then the Fatima prayer. So we do that every night.
Latin?
No, not in Latin.
Oh, I was gonna say, like, she's 2, dude.
I know all those except for the Fatima prayer. But you know what? It's like she learned it so quick too. But you know what's interesting about the Protestant stain on America, and I think this is why a lot of people choose Orthodoxy as if there is a choice. They're like, well, that's the one. They want the apostolic lineage. They want the claim that it's an ancient, an ancient church. They also want masculinity, and like in a way that maybe subverts the meekness that you're supposed to display. This is just from what I see, and I love Orthodox guys. I think they have a beautiful thing going on. I just don't. I don't see the marks of God's providence in the church. And I just don't. And if
are you talking about Orthodox? Listen to me.
Last statement on this. If I was just raised and grew up and I don't have access to Jay Dyer debates, or if I'm not Russian or Greek, Like, how is this getting to me? And God's providence has put it that a Catholic church is anywhere in the world, and you can go to it. And
Orthodoxy. Listen
but...
to me. Despite, I know everybody thinks like I have this affinity for the East. So I'm going to explain something to you. The reason I actually love Bobby is because he's Byzantine Catholic. He's not Eastern Orthodox. The East, despite its attraction to the aesthetics, there's something so powerful about the go forth and baptize all nations, and only the Latin Church did that. The Eastern Church did not do that. The Western Latin Church went forth and baptized all nations. And there's something so important about understanding the role of the Western Church to do that. Like the universal nature of the new covenant and the East and the Western Church going into, especially as the Reformation is happening in Europe and the Western Church goes into South America, and Our Lady appears to Mexico, and Our Lady converts 14 million freaking Aztecs in a matter of 5 years. Like, dude, there's nothing the East can even freaking show. And this is not, I have no doubt that the Catholic Church is.
You think it'll reunify?
Yeah, I do.
I think it'll. I think it will. I mean, because if you have to read through transcripts and translations of ecumenical councils to justify your existence or your schism, it's just too much, you know.
And I also, Ryan, I also think Western guys that are going Eastern Orthodox, like, dude, you're from Florida, you're from Mississippi, you're from Texas, like, stop it, like, knock it off. You are a Latin Catholic, like, stop. Like, there's something so LARPy about that. Like, I can sit and I can admire the mysticism of the East, and I can think it's pretty, but like, knock it off. Like, you're from freaking DC. You're not Eastern Orthodox. Knock it off. It annoys me. It's a freaking LARP. Like, you're better off going to the Novus Ordo than that. I'm sorry.
But you know what I will say is that there is this inclination to, when an American Christian finally gets serious, they're like, I don't trust the American lexicon or accent or demeanor. I need something foreign, because it is so, like, you see it, whether it's in movies where they dilute what Christians are. They're like the cock a shot kind of like, you're not supposed to be around here. We love the Lord or whatever. Real. Yeah. And it's like what America has allowed in terms of Christianity are some embarrassing flourishes or deviations from the truth. So you get this sort of like, I just don't trust. It's almost like if I hear JD Vance saying somebody's name while he's being interviewed, he's like, well, John, that's an excellent question, John. Because it's like car salesman energy. And you're just like, I just don't trust the ring and timbre of a car salesman-esque sort of, I read the 12 Laws of Power book or something. Like, it's like pickup artist.
There's something very significant,
and that's why,
about even what you're saying.
Why I think they're going away from the American accent. You know,
even what you're saying. So, like, think about when Shia LaBeouf converted, right? And he's like, I go to the Latin Mass and I don't feel like I'm being sold a car, right? Dude, like, there's something so annoying about the Novus Ordo where it's like, dude, the last freaking, oh man, every time you go, they're like the freaking priest with the sports, and it's like, just
because Ryan hit the nail on the head. Like, what it is fundamentally is that we, in our secular, obese, porn obsessed culture, are dying for the eternal and the transcendent.
Yes.
And so the Novus Ordo doesn't get that because it is made for man. The Latin Mass, and then even Eastern Orthodoxy, in the sense that they're stolen rights, are at least trying to be oriented toward God. Like, we as creatures are supposed to be with God. And so we're just desperately, like, reaching out and saying, like, God, save us, like, pull us up into this, like, divine dance, if you will, in heaven. The new Mass doesn't do that, because the new Mass is made for the modern man. This is why
it's just, Nick, it's the baggage of the Protestants coming over, like the Protestant converts coming over. It's just Protestant. It's not.
It's a little Protestant.
It's not freaking Catholic. It's Protestant.
You don't have to convince me of that. I'll be saying that all the time. But what I'll tell people in all seriousness is this: like, I know I mean the stuff, but like the new Mass, if people just want to see, like, get past all the YouTube drama about the subject, Go and read what Bunini himself said. Right? It's like the Constitution. If you want to figure out the Constitution, read the Federalist Papers. Go and read what Bunini said, and then come and tell me whether or not he was Catholic or not. Like, it's truly.
I will make one statement about what I think this allows for. So
let the Pope explainer go.
It's a widening of the, and I really just believe this. It's a widening of the gates. We have the authority to bind and loose. It's a very loosey sort of area right now where it's like, listen, Protestants, we don't want to scare you off. But now they're not realizing that we want to be scared. We want the reality of this whole thing. But either way, the point is, it's a very shallow entry level sort of thing. And it might remind them of, it's like a Protestant thing, but without screens and without musical numbers and lights and fog. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to denigrate the Protestant. They're really beautiful.
Oh, shut up, you freaking ecumenist. They're not even Christian, these people. No, I'm not even kidding. That's not Christianity.
It doesn't help.
Dude,
You're right. It doesn't help.
It's not. Listen to me.
It doesn't.
Look, I love people on the fraternal charity basis, right? But Ryan, they are not Christian in the truest sense of the word. Like
they
what we
protesting do. Christian.
Listen to me. It's not just that. Like what we're doing, the ritual of what we do. Look, I've even made the joke with our shirt. It's like, I'm religious, not spiritual. Like, there are people who say I'm spiritual but not religious. Like, I love the freaking ritual of Catholicism because.
Tell me what to do. Like, I'm dumb.
And it's more than that. It's like, dude, if you really understand human nature, people that go to dude, I watched videos the other day of people at freaking the Red Sox stadium, like asking the players, please give me dirt from the field. Yeah, like that's your freaking sacramental. Atheist.
Oh no, and that's their communion, and their communion is based in division because it's like we all love baseball, so obviously the Yankees fans and the Boston fans are at some point going to realize, hey, baseball is pretty great. No,
but the idea of taking dirt from Wrigley's Field, like, dude, that
and I have a ball.
These same Protestants that mock us for wanting holy water from Lourdes will go and get that dirt from Wrigley's Field. The same Protestants who will tell us we shouldn't have statues to Our Lady will have a freaking shrine to a family member that passed away.
No, what's insane is they'll be like, yeah, you shouldn't have any images of Our Lady, but then they're the ones who will fight tooth and nail to have the nativity on the courthouse lawn.
Forget that they'll fight for a freaking statue of Roosevelt or fight for a statue of they'll literally put a statue of Billy Graham in the Capitol. Like, Nick, there's something so important about ritual for human beings that Protestants will glaze over in the religious aspect. They don't understand the importance of sacred imagery in a way that makes me sick, because these are people who are addicted to pornography, and they don't see the importance of a sacred image of Our Lady and the Holy Family. And it's like, this is the most important time in history to have sacred images, because we're being thrown pornographic images at every freaking angle, and you need sacred images. And part of Catholics that annoy me are, dude, everywhere you go, like when I went to Italy, they were throwing these freaking little holy cars and they're throwing them at you. And it's like, I'm going to throw this away. Don't give me a sacred image that is disposable. Like a sacred image should be sacred and holy. Don't give me some piece of paper when I go to this holy site that's going to crumble up in my pocket. Like Catholics have lost the understanding of the sacred image themselves, which is the one thing I respect about the East with their icons. And it's not, it's there's something
Eastern icons. But you know what's funny too? I literally have like the face of Jesus little throwaway card. We can't throw those out because it's like,
you're not supposed to.
Yeah, we have like three, like,
you go to a funeral, they give you a holy card. You're not supposed to freaking throw that thing out. You're supposed to keep that as a sacred.
You can't
just throw a picture of Our Lady in the garbage. Like, it's We're gonna have to
Listen,
do a whole
Protestants
show
will
on Sacred
say-
Images because it's something that we've lost as Catholics, the understanding of how important these things are. So, all right, real quick, we do have to wrap it up. I have my friend Patrick's coming; he's on his way. Do you guys have any predictions for 2025?
Nick.
Predictions for 2025. So in the church, unfortunately, I have a few predictions. In the church, I think what you'll see is the continuation of confusion and division. Oh, by the way, yeah, I can answer this real quick.
I want to address this also. So go ahead, Nick. Finish your thing, and then I'll address that.
Yeah, I have a good opinion on this. Yeah, so in the church, I predict essentially we'll see more doctrinal confusion because if your prediction's right, Anthony, on you think this might be Pope Francis's last year, you'll see the confusion continue to ramp up because it's the last chance at least they have under the Francis papacy. So I think that's what you'll see. In the secular society, I think what you'll see is a lot of winning. In all honesty, I do think that there's going to be a lot more positivity coming from the secular society.
Nick, we have to do a political show because we got to talk about the H-1B visa thing. Like me and you might have to do, maybe me and you will do a show midweek.
Yeah.
And just talk H-1B visas for some of the Trump stuff because like I want to talk to you about some of that stuff. I have to get into that. So
yeah, those are basically my predictions. And then to answer this, it's a good question. So when it comes to Eucharistic miracles in the new Mass, the basic argument that I always pose to people is just remember that typically, not always, but typically when Eucharistic miracles happen, it's a sign of God's like chastisement saying, hey, remember I am here. Because if you read most of them, they are in the context of priests who are doubting the true faith or the congregation doubting the true faith. So again, I never make the argument that the new Mass is invalid. I don't make that argument. But I do say that our Lord is reminding people, hey, I am here, and this is an actual issue.
I got to say something on that too. The news article too, there was a woman who they interviewed afterwards, like, what's your response about this? And she's like, well, I think it's, I thought of how, Jesus, the nativity, and fresh in her mind because that's liturgically where we're at, but that he would go to somewhere just as lowly as a manger, and he would come to somewhere just a little town it's like, well, he doesn't just come to, like, he's everywhere in all of the churches, he's present. But to think that, like, no, that means he was here because something special happened. He's actually in every parish. So it kind of revealed a little bit of like, oh no, that was him coming here and doing that. It's like he was there already, and then that's the teaching part of that. Is
okay.
That,
I need to say something. So Nick is correct. It's often happening when a priest is doubting the true presence. The new Mass breeds this kind of doubt. Yes, but I think those miracles are actually for the trads. Like I think Nick, they're for you, and they're for me.
Wow.
Where people that doubt Christ is truly present in the Novus Ordo, and Christ is still present in them, and there are still Eucharistic miracles in the Novus Ordo. And it's as much as we wish that it was all trad and Latin Mass and this and that, like, I don't care what you think, like, Jesus is still freaking present there, and he
is, and that's the scary thing.
Yeah,
like,
no,
that's actually the bad thing about, like, I personally
but it's proof that the Novus Ordo Mass, to me, I don't know what you think. To me, it's proof that Christ is still present.
No. I fully agree with that. That's the scary thing, though, because it's like, again, like if you just
the
look
lack
at
of faith in the people that are attending,
or just the reality.
Also, the treatment of the Eucharist too, right?
Exactly, because I was gonna say, like, if you look at these videos where it's like on average 10 particles on every single communion on the hand, just do the math. It's like 17 million Catholics go to Mass every Sunday in the United States. Only about a couple 100,000 are trads. So that means that the vast majority, right, we'll just say 16.5, right? 16.5 are taking communion on the hand, or a good amount of them, right? Just do that times 10. That's a systemization of sacralization that's going on. And so I agree with you. I do think Christ is present, but I think that's the scary thing. And then just real quick, Zoomer, send me if you have Instagram, send me a DM and I will send you a free 6-hour video I make on this.
Wait, can I say something real quick?
I do want to see that. If you could send me that,
I can send it to you too. Yeah, no worries.
Yeah. But so I went to a St. Pat's a couple days ago. St. Pat, because we were in the city and our daughter hasn't been there since, like, she was able to, like, actually take things in. But it's Yeah, you can't go to a Latin mass to the regularity that we do, and then go to a Novus Ordo and not in the back of your mind be like, look at what are they doing over there, and what's really anxiety striking or is that stress inducing is that first of all, like, so there was a priest and a deacon. There was no Eucharistic minister. So I was like, wow, that's pretty great. I saw somebody receive on the tongue, and I said, we're good to go. Not kneeling. But anyway, so there's people there that didn't even know what to do. They go to a mass, it's probably their first mass. They want to participate in it. And there's this guy, kind of looks like an immigrant, maybe, has gloves on. And like, he's being told to take the gloves off. So he takes the gloves off, then he has it, and he just chews it, casually walks back. I'm like, that guy isn't a Catholic. But what I'm thinking is, like, for the priest, and my wife puts it this way, he's like in a spiritual war. He's telling people, take your hat off while you receive. He's like, you have to eat it now. You can't walk away. So he's battling this. And our Lord is like just being mistreated by strangers, essentially.
As he was at the crucifixion. Yeah.
And I know here's the thing is, like, it's for the priest. He's like, I don't have time to discern whether or not, like, he'd be there all day. It'd be exhausting, hundreds of people. And I think it's a giving up and a surrendering of, like, if this is being willed. And this is my question that I was asking, just the kind of like theological little like problem I was working out in my head. Is there any silver lining in that whatsoever? Like, is there still actual graces for somebody if they're receiving it? Would it bring them closer, and the Lord is kind of just allowing himself to be, in like kind of defiled by unworthy receivers? Do they still receive something that can bring them closer?
We don't know. Only God knows that, right? Mm-hmm. Only God knows what graces he gives to people.
Well, I mean, where I'm concerned is that, so I would say it depends, but I would say with this one stipulation being that, like, again, if people want, I will send you the 6-hour free video, because it's technically a Patreon video, but I'll send it to you guys if you want it. But like, if hypothetically, if the new mass teaches a different theology and is trying to offer up a different notion of sacrifice to God, God in his love for man very well may give them grace. But that's out of a pure act of love of God, because the sacrifice that they're committing is something that is really, really getting
sacrilege,
sticky. And so
they're receiving on where they're eating damnation onto themselves.
Well, if they are, if they're in a state of grace, through ignorance, I always try to give people benefit. It's like this. This will be my last spicy take of the night, but it's like, I always tell people this. I don't believe that there's such a thing as a Novus Ordo Catholic. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is, because I don't believe the Novus Ordo is Catholic, what I'd say is, more accurately, Catholics stuck in the Novus Ordo.
Yeah.
That's what I mean by it. It's not saying that they're not Catholic. It's just saying that the right is not. And so therefore I give people the benefit of the doubt, and I say, like, look, I don't know what, like, God is way more merciful than Nick Cavazos, right?
Oh, he certainly is. Nick is
also he's also way more just than I am too, right? And so that being the case, I try to give people the benefit of the doubt, but that does not stop people's obligation from studying.
All right. It takes time and distance to turn an aircraft carrier that needs changed course, especially when people are malformed over several decades. Father, I appreciate you checking out our show. All right. I'm going to say something to both of you. I'm really glad we did this tonight, man. This is New Year's Eve. This is one of the fastest shows we've done. Like, I know we had a good show when the show flies by, and we're at 2 hours right now. Nicholas. Dude, I freaking love my Nicholas, man.
You're my Nicholas.
My little Nicholas. Oh, I freaking adore him. Nick, you have been such a great addition to our the Avoiding Babylon crew, man. Ryan, thank you for joining us tonight, man. I hope you guys all enjoyed this. I hope everybody has a wonderful New Year's Eve. We are going to wrap this up. I have to go hang with my wife. My friend Patrick's coming over.
Can I say one more thing? Just in place of plugs. I'll say it as voice of reason. So when I was doing I was observing some fasting and abstinence, I reached out to Rob. Rob isn't here, but because he isn't here, I felt that I should mention him. So I reached out and I said, what are the fasting guidelines you go by? Do you go by the ones that are like really, really old, or do you go by like Pope?
I gotta be honest. I think I do just as good of a voice of reason impression as you do, because all you gotta do is do a Rocky Balboa impression.
You're missing the nuance of a professional.
Yo, he did I'm gonna say this. He did a
you.
very good. I actually really enjoyed him on Ruslan's show.
Yes, yeah, I was about to say
like phenomenally good, and I learned.
Like the recent one was that the guy
Ruslan is an evangelical. Well, he's more like a whatever. But I actually learned from Voice of Reason some things about purgatory that I was really excited to learn.
Me too.
He's very good, dude. Like when it comes to I like him better than Trent Horn and some of the Catholic Answers.
Joe Heschmeyer's the GOAT, dude. If you guys can get him on the show, I'd be so.
I'll get him
like Joe Heschmeyer.
Nah, dude, honestly, the problem is that I listened to that interview and I heard when he was going off about like it's so hard to commit mortal sin. I was like, that the way he described it, I was like, that is literally a condemned proposition.
Wait a minute, even Voice of Reason, Voice of Reason, Alma the Protestant was like downplaying some things. Like I was a little annoyed with some of the downplaying some of the things with like missing mass, and he's like, well, if it wasn't like it's look,
it matters about your intention, right?
Dude, you gotta
it's like sometimes we as Catholics just need to be like, bro, if you miss mass intentionally, like you chose your thing over God. Like, but I also am very sympathetic to, because I'm like this. Like, I don't like arguments, so you try to make your position seem as palatable as possible. I would actually like to talk with Voice of Reason, and
you just did.
Yeah, I basically did. So, all right, listen, we're gonna wrap this up, man. I appreciate both of you. I love both of you guys.
You too,
Rob will be back hopefully on the next show. Rob, if you're still listening, I hope you guys had a great dinner. Dude, for all the people who watch this show, man, I am always blown away. We have 767 people watching this show right now. I know it's not that many on YouTube, but like overall the platforms, 767 people checked it out tonight. We love you guys. We will hopefully I don't know if we're gonna skip Thursday, we'll see, but this was fun, man.
Yeah,
Nick, Ryan, thank you both, brothers.
Amen.
Ryan, I'll see you on Sunday. Nick, love you, brother. All right, boys, let's wrap this one up.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year. Oh, to Dr. James White.
If you're still
watching, he comes on, man. I would love to talk with him.
He interacted with me on Twitter because he posted something. I was like, wait, is that the James White who debated something Manitix, Barry Manitix?
Yeah,
Jerry Manitix. And then he responded 4 times that year, actually.
Yeah, all right. Wait, real quick. Everybody, if you're not subscribed already, please hit subscribe.
That's hilarious.
Please hit like. It helps the algorithm of the show. And we will see you guys all. Happy New Year. And we will see all of you next year. This was fun, man. We will see you guys next time.
Happy New Year.